Hello guys, it's Sapphire Morning. So I'm here with episode 10 of Cloak and Dagger, which is the final episode of the first season. So, and this episode is definitely interesting because we finally get to see the stories of the dolls that that Vita's aunt has on her I think it's her mantle. So we finally get a history of each doll, and as we and it's just very interesting. So the first one is 2 Native American children, and apparently there was like some sort of famine, and so apparently as we seen throughout each story is like one of the divine pairing will bear some sort of mark, which is supposed to be the one who's gonna die. So the one who possesses the mark apparently is gonna be the one to die, who sacrifices themselves to end whatever catastrophe that is currently befalling the world. So in the case of the little Native American children, the Choctaw children, there was some sort of famine going on. They wasn't getting fish and stuff like that. So the little girl, she has a basket full of rocks, puts it on top of her head, and walks into the water pretty much to drown herself, and then the fish appear. Next one, I believe, is they had 2 brothers. It was like Civil War era, and they was fighting over some shit. The brother let himself die. Disaster averted. Another one was these lovers. One was a doctor. So he ended up creating basically a vaccine, which he probably really didn't know he did, but he created the vaccine and injected it into his lover, and he thought he just saved his lover, but when he dies, he ends up curing everybody. I think it was the Spanish flu. And what was the other one? It's just you get each body's stories, and supposed to be, one supposed to die. So you have the stories being told of the dolls, and then we have to go back to Tandy and Tyrone. Tandy is still staring down the Mr. Scarborough's assassin. Her mother obviously is being held hostage. So after a brief confrontation, her mother Melissa works her way out by stabbing the lady. Tandy, does her thing, and then she leaves her mama because she's like, now she got to check on Mina and her father, because, if they came after her mama, then obviously Mina and Ivan Hess was going to be in danger too, so she goes to go and check on them. Tyrone, as we know, he's still running away from the New Orleans Police Department. His father ends up finding him, and I think you're going to need this. And he's like trying to tell his son, like, look, okay, I'm going to have you sneak out the back. Then Tyrone just disappears because he's gotten pretty good at, his disappearing thing, his transportation thing. So he ends up getting caught when O'Reilly shows up to try to drive him off. And she's like, why don't you do your little disappear thing? And he's like, basically because there's too many people. You don't need you already run away from police. Now you need to be all on the news, like 6 o'clock news, New Orleans news. A boy just literally disappeared into the shadows in front of everybody. That's not good, So then they are brought to the police station, and they aren't officially booked. So Tyrone figuring out why haven't we booked? And she's pretty much saying that because they haven't been booked officially, and they was brought automatically to this little cage in the back, that they plan on killing them, basically. And Tyrone is convinced that he pretty much can't disappear without his cloak, because it's sort of, as I've said before, it's kind of like Thor with his hammer. Like he probably really doesn't need the cloak, but it's a way for him to manage or learn to control his abilities, So they do their best to appeal toward the morals of a cop who's guarding them. The cop is a young male. He's like, he's doing a little speech like, come on, man, stuff like that, doing speech like, like you're a cop, you're supposed to, be protecting the innocent and stuff like that. So when they finally get through to him, and he's about to open the gate, another cop comes in. I'm like, dang it! They almost had it. So the other cop comes in, and then Connor arrives. And he doesn't explain. He goes and explains that he's going to kill Tyrone. He's going to kill O'Reilly, saying, O'Reilly died because Tyrone... No, he says Tyrone will kill O'Reilly and Connor will kill Tyrone. And that's the narrative he'll sell the New Orleans Police Department. And pretty much, as we can see, some of y'all probably the police department gonna say, if you've been watching this season so far, the whole department is shady as hell. So they'll probably buy that and go tell that boy parent, oh yeah, he tried to kill a cop. But don't make no damn sense. But, you got crooked cops in the police department, so what you gonna do? So the Connors is taking him out the cage, and he's getting ready to go, kill them. And that's when we get people who have been turned by the Roxxon's energy / fume start arriving police station. So it's now like, it looks like a mini like zombie outbreak. So it's up, they're not trying to eat your flesh, they're just very aggressive. So everybody start freaking out like, ah! And and it basically is kind of like a zombie virus, because if you get touched by it, well, in the zombie virus, if you get scratched a bit, you turn. But in this case, if somebody touches you, then you become afflicted yourself. So now, O'Reilly is imploring Tyrone to escape, and he tells her that everything he said to the cop is on him too, and the city is Tyrone's responsibility. He has to protect and serve. So Tyrone diverts the zombified folks away from the officers and teleports away into the darkness. Meanwhile, Tandy is heading to the swamp to save Mina. As we saw before, some of the people that was that Mina had ran before. It was, who was it? That dude in the suit and one of the workers. So obviously it turned. So she had to fight them. She ends up stabbing the worker and ended up having knock out the business suit dude. And then she tells Mina that they're that this is caused by Roxxon, and Mina's like, oh crap, and she tells her there are 9 valves emitting Roxxon's toxic energy throughout the city, and shutting them off is the only way to stop the growing number of turn. But in order to do that, they'll need to find Scarborough and to figure out how to stable him. So meanwhile, they go to Roxxon, but Scarborough, he already knows what happens when people are fatal. So his little ass is getting out of Dodge. He's sitting there destroying disks, computers, files, everything, trying to get his ass about to Dodge, because he knows what's happening. He's not stupid. He knows what's happening. It's the same thing that happened on that oil rig. He knows exactly what's going on. So he's trying to hurry and get out before they could get blamed. Ooh, boy, don't you hate? Ooh, that made me so mad. I was like, ooh, people is always suffering because of you. Ooh, that made me so upset. So they end up finding him, and they track him to the oven. So he tells Tandy that Roxxon's lost the ability to turn the valves off remotely, and he knows this decision was irresponsible, but he took a chance on energy production in order to keep up with pretty much people like Tony Stark, because as we all know, Tony Stark got his own. Which movie was it? It was actually in the first Avengers. We saw he powered the tower on his own energy system. It's pretty much off the grid. He's powering it with his own energy. So we have basically these group of people like Roxxon and other people. They see people like Tony Stark or Captain America or the Black Panther, and they have these abilities or money or access to energy or resources that they don't have, and is a sort of making people do things that's clearly irresponsible to try to match them, which was pretty much the sort of the point of the movie Civil War, is that because we now have a world filled with, Captain America's, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, such, etc., that you have people sort of creating a force to go against that. And Scarborough is reluctant to share any more information, but after a right click from Mina, he tells the woman about the core. He shares where it's located, so Tandy tells Scarborough that they'll be shutting it down, but not before she uses her abilities to pretty much trap Scarborough in his mind. So she goes inside of his hope. You know how this thing. She goes to see hope, and his hope is having power and energy. So we see that little door. So I'm guessing she traps him inside the explosion of the oil rig. I'm guessing she traps him inside there, because when we see him again, he's like in a catatonic state. So I'm guessing she trapped his ass in that thing, so he's not getting out. So he done. He ain't coming back. So on their way to shut off the valve core, Tandy and Mina run to Scarborough Assassin. This broad again. Oh my god, I'm just like, die, woman. So, but all three are curtailed by the arrival of more of the turned people. So she's officially gone. She done that assassin. She done. Which makes you think that she is really not good at her job. I mean, she failed to kill Melissa. She failed to kill Tandy. She's a terrible assassin. I think she should get her assassin's license revoked. Like, she was just terrible. The worst assassin I've ever seen. Anyway, Mina ends up getting turned, and so Tandy does her best to try to keep from, killing her, and Tyrone arrives just in time and he tases her. So, depleted and exhausted, the pair return to Tandy's church and they're out of ideas, but when Evita shows up, she breaks the news that Tandy and Tyrone are the divine pairing. And together they'll save the city, but in the process, one of them is gonna die. And Tandy's like, wait, what? Like, how is this supposed to be good news? Like, seriously, think about it. You're being told that you have to save the world, but guess what? But downside, one of y'all is going to end up dying. That is really not good news to hear. It really isn't. So, Evita leaves them after delivering the news, but not before she and Tyrone kiss. And Tandy tells him that if the city doesn't destroy itself, you should lock that down. Really, Tandy? You should have locked whatchamacallit down, but you broke my heart with that, Tandy. That boy loves you. And you just ruined it. Ooh, girl, you're so toxic. Girl, work on yourself. You need some soap. That girl needs therapy and everything. But with Evita gone, Tyrone falls into doubt. He doesn't think he has it in him to save anyone. And he let so many people down before. So Tandy gassed him up, handing him back his old hoodie in the process. And when Tyrone asked where she's gotten it from, she said it was pretty much the first thing she ever stole. Because if you remember when they washed up on the beach, she took his hoodie and he took her ballet slipper. And so now they're both confident, so they go out to head to the valve sitter. O'Reilly gives them cover fire against the turn while they head to the car, but this somehow gets her noticed by Connors, who shoots O'Reilly and knocks her into the water below. And he is about to fire on Tandy and Tyrone, but they use his power against him. So then what happens is Tyrone takes Connors to the top of the building, right? And he's about to throw him off the building, right? And he's like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna kill you, because, that's the superhero thing, Superheroes really don't kill their villains. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna show mercy on you. I'm gonna just let you go. Which, in some cases, is probably not a good idea, when you think about it. Like, especially if you have a villain who's like the Joker. Is it really a good idea to just put him in prison when he's just gonna constantly break out again? But anyway, so he lets him go. So Connor goes and tries to shoot Tyrone. So what happens is, this darkness... the little darkness tentacle thingies, they grab Connor and they suck him into the darkness. And Tyrone's like, what the hell is happening? So obviously he has a new skill that he does not know how to use yet. But hey, he found out he got a new skill. Suck people into the darkness. Well, they're nowhere to be found. And nowhere to be seen again. That's something he's going to have to learn soon. So, yeah. So with time running out, Tyrone tells Tandy that he'll have to shut off the core on his own, and he's the half of the pairing who would die. Because if you notice his arm, they show you his arm, he has a little brand mark. So I'm like, oh no, it's not Tyrone. But Evita knew it was gonna be Tyrone because she felt his arm before in the church, and she had a gas moment because she knew it was him. I was like, no, you're right. So he goes off and does his thing, and he goes into the So he goes inside the core, and Tandy tries to shut it off. And so then Tandy comes in like, no, we're gonna do this together. And so she ends up with the energy sitting with everything getting ready to erupt, so it's sort of shaky. So she ends up being knocked into this pole, and now she is branded with the marks. I'm like, oh, they're both marked now. So what happens is they basically take the energy that is about to be exploded into the city, and they sort of redirect it into the atmosphere, which I thought was pretty cool. That was pretty boss. And they end up, I don't know how the hell they got up there, but they're on top of the Superdome. I'm like, well, maybe the energy, all that energy they had to transport somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And so that was pretty much. That was pretty much how they saved the city. And so, Evita sees their victory on the news. Mr. Scarborough is found in the elevator, lost in that. He's gone. He's officially gone. There's no. Oh, Mr. Scarborough. Nope, he gone. He can't hear you. He's trapped in his own little hell, which he needs to be after what he did. Seriously, that he deserved that. How you gonna kill people, have people die? You could have saved all those people on the Oryx, and not only that, you could have prevented people in the city itself from being exposed, but no, you wanted money and power. Oh my goodness. And then at Tyrone's house, his parents and his teacher hang around with the New Orleans PD, but Tyrone shows up and leaves something for his mother. Tandy shows her own mother the newspaper demon Roxanne responsible, and now Tyrone, because he's still a fugitive, because one, you really can't explain to police officers what happened to Connor, you know what I'm saying? Because one, they're not going to believe you. It's going to sound like you're on drugs or something. Like, you can't really say, well, I had him on top of a building, and all of a sudden these dark tentacle things came out of my jacket and sucked them in. You know how crazy that would sound if you try to explain it? Nope. So Tyrone officially is a fugitive at this point. So he ends up living in the church. So, like most Marvel movies, we're given this nice little end credit scene where we see O'Reilly has survived, but there's something different about her. Because when O'Connor shot her, there was also a mini blast from that pipe that she was by. So she got hit with the blast plus hit with his gun. Falls in the water. So when she does emerge from the water, we see her do like that little creepy horror movie glitch thing where they walk and then they glitch a little bit and they transport to something else in the wall. You know, that creepy horror movie thing they do. Like, this is, you know, like that. Kind of like that, the ghost things ghosts normally do in horror movies. That thing. And so officially, looks like O'Reilly has gone from being the good cop to apparently like going to be our first supervillain apparently, because the promo for season 2, it says Cloak and Dagger season 2, there will be mayhem. So I looked it up, and that apparently will be O'Reilly's villain name. I'm not sure if she's gonna officially call herself, because Cloak, Tandy and Tyrone haven't called themselves Cloak and Dagger yet. So they'll probably get to it eventually. But overall, I liked season 1, especially with the part of where we get the background of the dolls. I thought it was interesting to see the history of the Divine Fairies over the course of the city's history, which was pretty cool. And the fact that we learned that those Divine Fairies in the past, they probably really didn't. One of them probably really didn't have to die, because they saw with Tandy and Tyrone. By combining their abilities, they transferred the energy and to save the city, so neither one had to die. So that was pretty cool. But overall, I really can't wait till season 2. I know it's going to be amazing, especially now that we have the villain, which I then feel bad, because O'Reilly, she really was a good cop. You know what I'm saying? Like, compared to all the cops we have been introduced so far, whether they had, whether they was, just in the background or not. The fact that O'Reilly is the only cop that we've seen that is actually, well, O'Reilly and her boyfriend, who's now deceased. The fact that they were the only 2 cops that we saw that was, good and try to do the right thing, uphold, justice and stuff and, the system and stuff. And to see one of them die and the other one be turned into sort of an evil individual, it kind of is like, it's like, damn. It's like they really don't want no good cops. You know what I'm saying? It's just terrible. But overall, that is it for Cloak and Dagger. I'm still doing Attack of Titans reviews. And I will be starting The Gifted Season 1 pretty soon. And Season 2 starts, of course, September, next month. So I'll be starting The Gifted Season 1 pretty soon. Also, ideas I do have for doing shows this season. I do plan on doing the Charm reboot along with the Roswell reboot, just to see how it compares to the ones, because I grew up in the 90s. Okay, I was born in 91. I was a 90s baby, right? So for me, I want to really compare the Charm reboot versus the original, and of course the Roswell reboot versus the original. The Charm one seems like it might be meh. But the Roswell one looks like it might be pretty good. But, I'm just basing off the trailers alone. And not only that, but of course there's going to be Young Justice is getting another season. So I definitely want to review that along with the Teen Titans live action. So those are some things I'm looking at. And of course, October, we're getting Fairy Tail. So when I get closer to October, I'll do the Fairy Tail stuff. So comment, rate, subscribe. If you guys want me to review anything in particular, any TV shows you want me to do, or movies, or whatever, just let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.